Today, we'll break down the pillars and principles of the COSO framework, as well as how to implement and use it as a foundation for modern internal controls and fraud deterrence. This is Audit Board Essentials. The Committee of Sponsoring Organizations of the Treadway Commission, or COSO, is a private sector initiative that was formed to investigate fraud scandals in the 1970s and 1980s, which resulted in the release of an internal controls framework in 1992. The COSO Internal Control Integrated Framework provides guidance for how organizations can implement controls to prevent, detect, and manage fraud risk related to external financial reporting. Although the original aim of COSO was to investigate and address fraud in the 1970s and 80s, the COSO framework gained increased importance due to the fraud cases of the 1990s and 2000s. Companies subject to SOX regulations adopted COSO as one of the primary frameworks to satisfy these requirements. COSO also provides guidance for establishing an enterprise risk management program, which often goes hand in hand with a company's internal control environment. The COSO framework is periodically revised and reissued with updated guidance by the committee. For example, in March of 2023, COSO released guidance on internal controls over sustainability reporting, or the ICSR, by leveraging the COSO internal controls framework. As scrutiny increases around corporate sustainability, more regulations have come into play requiring reliable, trusted reporting around environmental, social, and governance matters. This new guidance gives companies a vetted avenue for reporting on sustainability goals, metrics, and results. The pillars and components of a COSO framework are often visualized in a COSO cube. Today, we'll be going through the first phase of the cube, which lists 5 foundations of internal controls, which are control environment, risk assessment, control activities, information and communication, and monitoring activities. The control environment of an organization refers to the overall culture of internal controls and is established from the top down. As demonstrated by Enron and other more recent fraud cases, poor tone at the top can lead to fraudulent activities with devastating consequences. The next pillar of the COSO framework stipulates the need for periodic or ongoing risk assessments to identify and analyze relevant risks that could prevent the organization from achieving its objectives. Once an organization has defined their objectives, established an ethical control environment, and performed a risk assessment, the next step in the COSO framework is to establish control activities. Control activities are processes, procedures, actions, and communications to mitigate risks and maintain strong internal controls. The next pillar may seem obvious, but another crucial aspect of a successful internal controls program is appropriate, consistent, and timely distribution of information to relevant stakeholders. This enables individuals to carry out their responsibilities. Effective communication must occur both internally and externally, flowing down, across, and up the organization. The fifth and final pillar of the COSO framework involves monitoring, measuring, and reporting on the company's internal control system to ascertain whether each of the 5 components of internal controls is present and operating effectively. Findings should be evaluated and deficiencies communicated in a timely manner. Applying the COSO framework is a great way to drive a strong control environment, as well as ensure internal control requirements are met for companies that must comply with SOX. Because it's designed to apply to a wide range of industries and companies, however, the COSO framework doesn't provide specific methods for implementing effective control activities, but rather provides overarching principles for how internal controls should be structured. That's it for this episode of Audit Board Essentials. Be sure to subscribe and tune into our channel for future episodes where we'll be covering the nuts and bolts of a foundational knowledge of audit, risk, and compliance.